If this is something you're interested in, how to make apple pies and applesauce and apple vinegar, have a no waste apple harvest, please stick around. We're going to make some great things today. Hello friends, welcome to my channel. I am Vicki and you are with Grammy in the kitchen. Stick around because today is going to be an exciting day. We're doing apples. Went apple picking with my daughter last weekend and we picked some apples. I only brought 13 and a half pounds of apples home with me, but let me show you what we did with 13 and a half pounds of apples. It's 10 o'clock at night and I just got off work, but over the weekend and got some apples. I went to North Carolina to visit my daughter and my son, and we went and picked some apples. So I got 2 of these bags, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start soaking those in some cold water. So I'm just going to fill this stinker with cold water. We are going to make some apple pies with some of these, and the rest we're going to put in a crock pot, and we're going to let them cook overnight for some applesauce. Alright, so I'm just going to let that sit in the water for a little bit. Got a big bowl right here. I'm going to put some water and some lemon juice in here. Peel our apples, we just put them in here so they won't start turning brown. As soon as oxygen touches the apples, they'll start turning brown, and we do not want that. Some lemon juice. And I got my cutting board here. I'm going to put our peelings and our cores in here so that we can make some apple cider. No waste. No waste, all money saving. Look at that apple. I think it's huge. Get this in the crock pot tonight because tomorrow I need to make some chicken stock. Alright, so all the peeling's going to go in this bowl. Cut them in quarters. All the seeds. And then I go at a 45-degree angle on the knife and I get the core out. Now the rest of this I'm just going to chop up. Nothing uniform, just chopping it up. I'll bring you back when I'm done. So I got the crock pot right here. I'm going to put it on low. So I got it on for 10 hours. I have my apples right here. We're going to go ahead and strain this. There we go. We got it in the crock pot. I'm going to add just a little bit more than a half a cup of water. That's all we're going to do. We're going to put the lid on it. And alright, so we've got the lid on the crock pot. We have it set for 10 hours on low. We're going to let this cook overnight, and then tomorrow morning we'll come back and we'll see where we are and we'll taste it, see if we need to add any sugar or. So we got the apples in that crock pot right there. Oh, right there. We've got some apples that we haven't peeled or cored. And that's going to be for our apple pie. But I decided that tonight we're going to go ahead and make the pie crust and put it in the refrigerator wrapped up in saran wrap so it'd be ready for us tomorrow. So I got the stand mixer right here. I got some flour. Over here I've got I'm making 2 pies double crust. So I'm making 4 crusts tonight. So in here I have 2 teaspoons of salt and 2 teaspoons of sugar. And I have 8 ounces or 2 cups of butter that I have cubed up. So in the stand mixer, we're going to go ahead and put in 5 cups of flour. We're going to go ahead and add our 2 teaspoons of salt and 2 teaspoons of sugar. We're going to go ahead and add our butter. There knows this is my favorite butter. And we will be adding water as needed. So 6 to 8 teaspoons of cold water per double crust. So we're doubling this. Kind of wondering if we should use this. Let's try. Because I'm not ready to put the water in. Because I want to break the butter up into the flour first. Let's see if this works better. I think that's the key. And now we're going to slowly add in some water. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for it to hold together. It might have taken probably about 3/4 of a cup for both of these pie crusts. And get this formed into a ball. Got my bench scraper. We're going to divide this into 4s. Got to make a disc. And then we're going to wrap this in saran wrap. And the last one. Four pie crusts. And we're going to put those in a Ziploc bag. This is a gallon size freezer bag, but we're not putting it in the freezer. Y'all have a good night, and I'll see you in the morning. Alright, so we're showered and ready to go get this day started. So, right there is the apples for the applesauce. So right here I have my apples. I have a couple tablespoons of lemon in a bowl of water. And another bowl to collect the scraps. So we're going to go ahead and get these peeled, cored, and sliced and put in our lemon water. Now when I am slicing them, I'm slicing them a little bit thicker because we are going to freeze these apple pies to be ready to cook. We're not going to cook the apples. We're just going to freeze them in the pie crust and then we'll bake it when we need it. So I have the apples in the lemon water right here. I have a plate that I'm going to put on top. Then I got a bowl I'm going to put on top of that. And then we're going to wrap this up with saran wrap. And in the refrigerator, this is going to go until we're ready. On the internet says for every 1 cup of water, you put in 1 tablespoon of sugar. So when I put this together last night before I went to bed, I actually put in 8 cups of water, so that was 8 tablespoons of sugar. Now we're going to add the apple scraps from the apples we peeled today. Putting the core, the peels, the seeds, putting everything in here. We do want to make sure that it is submerged underwater. It's going to be a no waste, no cost apple cider vinegar. Just keep pushing it in there. Get all the air bubbles out. Now this was 14 pounds of apples when we started. Alright, so everything is submerged. We're just going to put one weight in there. I have a cloth napkin because it does have to breathe. A rubber band on it to keep it from anything getting inside. We're going to go ahead and can up the applesauce. I do not want to put lemon juice in here, so we are going to pressure can it. And I did a little research, and it says I have to do 5 pounds worth of pressure for 8 minutes. I've got some pint-sized jars here. I have my cooked, pureed, sweetened applesauce. And I got my funnel. So we're going to go ahead and start filling these up. And it says a 1/2 inch headspace. Looks like I'm going to get 4 pints. Alright, so I have my debowling tool. Alright, that's a 1/2 inch. Paper towel, I've got a bowl of vinegar right here. I'm going to give it a good wipe down. My 4 jar lids and a ring band. Next one. And the last one. Okay, so I have my 4 jars. They're going to go into the canner. And still need to work on those apple pies. Okay, now we're going to dress the apples. We peeled these and we had them sitting in lemon water in the refrigerator until we got around to doing it. So I don't know how many this is. I don't even know how many pies I'm going to get out of this. But we'll find out together. So I got cane sugar. I'm going to put a cup. Balance out sweetness, you always need salt. This is Celtic sea salt. I am going to put 3 pinches in here. And then I have some cinnamon. We're going to start off with 1 tablespoon. Let's see how that looks. Let's give that a stir. Alright, so I made it put a tablespoon of flour in here. We don't like really, really sweet or very, very cinnamon tasting apple pie. We like the taste of the apples, not just the sugar. So, just going to find me a small piece and we're going to taste it. That's pretty good. I do have 2 of these throwaway pans that we're going to use for our pies. So that's a better view for you. So the pie dough has been in the refrigerator since we made it last night. And I just took it out. And because it's so much butter in there, it's still too hard for me to work with. So we're going to leave it here on the counter until it softens up a little bit so we can actually work with it. Alright, let's get this pie crust rolled out. It is. Alright, let's roll it up and here's the pie pan. Let's lay it inside. When it's a little cracked like this, just put a little bit of water. We'll use that as a glue. So that's the bottom. Let's move on to the top and then we'll go ahead and get it filled up. Top crust is rolled out. We're going to roll it around the rolling pin. Here's our bottom crust in the pan. Right here we have our apples. It's been sitting in the refrigerator while we were waiting on our dough to soften up a bit. And we're going to make a mountain high apple pie. We're going to load it up. It says as apples cook, they'll shrink and break down. We want to make sure it's inside the pie pan. We're going to take a little bit of water and we're going to go along the edge. This is going to work as the glue to hold the top and the bottom together. We're going to take our top crust, roll it on top, get it centered. We're going to push it down on the apples. Our kitchen shears. We're just going to trim it about a ½ inch from the edge of the pan. And now we're going to take it and we're going to fold it under. Now that we have all the edges sealed, we're going to take our thumb and our finger on one hand and our pointer on the other hand, and we're going to just go like that to pinch it into place to give us that beautiful little scalloped edge. And there we go. One apple pie done. We're going to cut 4 little holes in the top. You can use a knife, but I already have the scissors right here, so I'm just going to use the scissors. And that is one apple pie. And now we're going to go ahead and wrap them up for the freezer. So I'm just using plastic wrap. And I do it twice. Turn it at a 45-degree angle. Sorry. And I turn it at a 90-degree angle. That hissing noise you hear is the canner. So there we go. 2 apple pies going in the freezer. So we got 2 apple pies. We made the crust together. We made the sugar mixture for the apples and put them in here. We ended up with 4 pints of applesauce. There is no cinnamon in here. The reason it's a little brown is because I pressure cooked these. I didn't water bath them, so I didn't put no acidity in it. And because of that, I had to pressure can them. So they are lightly sweetened. And then with all of our apple peels and our apple seeds and the cores, we put in some sugar water. And we're going to let this sit on the counter. I'll probably put it in the back of the pantry. But as you can see, it's starting to bubble. This is 2 days old, so it's still got a while to go, but we're making apple cider vinegar out of the scraps. So this is 13 and a half pounds of apples. Nothing was wasted. You guys have a great day. We'll see you on the next one.